This is John. Hello.
Hey, John. This is Spencer.
Hi, Spencer. How are you?
Hi. Wonderful.
Good. Good deal.
Starting
I think we're just waiting for people to come on. We'll start in a minute.
Yeah.
Hey guys, looks like a lot of people are on. Should we start? John, we'll go ahead.
Sure.
Guys here.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and I know Spencer is on also.
Okay, so John, I may be in and out, being patient, so if you can, I'll tell you when I'm leaving. You can host it. But I have shared a screen with you guys with the EAC weekly newsletter. So if you are seeing my screen with me, that's where I'm at, or if you want to go to the website yourself and look at what we're going to talk about, it'll be there as well. But my topic of discussion today is with a particular project that's coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina, with potential ground partners of Spencer Aspey and Jamario Dyson. Jamario is a resident of Charlotte that's done quite a few rehab projects there. But they have an interesting project that they want us to fund. It is a duplex that's partially rehabbed by another investor who I believe has ran out of money. And it looks like a duplex that is valued around $300,000 that we can get into it around $190,000 or so. But why don't I let Spencer and his Jamario on the line to talk about this a little bit and present the deal. You guys ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Spencer, would you like to lead off, or? Well, I think we'll go ahead and dive right into the specifics of Parsons, and you're our Charlotte guy, so why don't we start off with you, and then we'll kind of end with how we got together.
Okay. I guess I'll jump right into it in regards to 1703 Parsons Street. And essentially, just to kind of give you a little background on this particular neighborhood and where this home is, this particular area, which is called the Noda, Villa Heights, Belmont area, has been going through a revitalization for probably about somewhat about 10 years now. And so there's a lot of properties where the indigenous people are still there, where they've owned the homes since they were built since the early 40s or late 50s. And in the revitalization process, new individuals that are working downtown, young families are starting to move from downtown and living on the outskirts. And so this neighborhood is just kind of taken off here in regards to just the redevelopment and just prospering at the moment. And so what we have here currently is this particular property was a duplex originally, and an investor from the California area came in and they purchased the property, and their initial goal was to rehab the house. And in that process, they found that they could not rehab it. So they tore the duplex down and they built another home from ground up. And what's taken place is the investor was in California and his general contractor was in Fayetteville, North Carolina, which is about 2 hours away from Charlotte. And the general contractor that was handling the project at the time wasn't necessarily doing all that they could to make sure to ensure the project was getting completed in a properly fashion and staying on budget. And so the investor just kind of, got fed up and decided that he just wanted out of it before he lost any more money. And just through some of the relationships that I have with other investors in the area and general contractors, they presented this project to me. The house currently, once again, it's at the framing stage, so the framing inspection has been completed, so it's actually ready to go to drywall. It's going to roughly take about a little under $50,000 to complete the house, and that would put us in right around about between $186,000 and $188,000. We're working on another project that's 2 streets over from this one that we actually have an appraisal on currently for a very similar project, and the appraisal came in. Actually, that house was a little smaller in square footage, and it actually came in at $290,000. To give you a little bit more insight on this particular house in this area, this street that we're working on, there was a general contractor that was working on a house that's literally 2 doors to the left of this property. They completed their house roughly about less than 30 days ago. They put the house on the market on a Wednesday. He did not have any showings to the property until that Friday. And on that Friday morning, he had 4 showings and 3 offers. He actually put the house on the market for $274,000. He accepted an offer of $281,000, and they closed the loan last week. So that would be, and that house was only 1,661 square feet. So it was the layout and the specs that we plan on doing with this house would be very equivalent to that one, only for the exception that this house is a little bigger in square footage, roughly probably about 200 square feet bigger. So that's kind of a general overview of what's taking place in regards to this house. I would also add that on this same street, which kind of goes over to the right as you're looking at the property, there are homes that are a little bit bigger, that are maybe that are 2 levels, that are actually selling in the 400 range. So there's so the potential for this house to increase in value by the time we finish could go up. It would roughly take us about 45 to 60 days to finish the home. I've already met with all of the contractors who did the sub work initially, the rough work in regards to the electrical, the plumbing, the mechanical, and the framing and everything. And I've already spoken to them, and they're okay with coming in and finishing out the work. And their prices, which also gives us the warranties, and so their prices are included in the budget that we have that we've submitted at the current moment. So everything is pretty much set up. It's just a matter of securing the funding at the current moment. And that's pretty much a summary of this particular project at the moment.
Kevin, do I need to go into our backgrounds and how we came together? Is everybody at the par on that, or do I need to recap?
If you can, please recap for us.
Okay. Well, Mr. Dyson and I, we met, I believe it was in either late 2001, beginning of 2002. At the time, I was living and working in Wilmington, North Carolina, which is just south of Jacksonville. It's about 30 minutes south of Jacksonville. And I was in the mortgage industry, and I arranged several deals through private investors with him, and we've done a number of projects together as far as new construction, fixed flips and leasebacks with Ryan Homes, and that's kind of where we got our start. Mr. Dyson is the expert in Charlotte, and he has a handle on the contractors, and he has a great ability to manage all of the issues when they do arise between all the subs. And so, I, for the most part, I was the guy that sought after the, or raising the capital requirements for projects, and I up until recently I've done a number of marketing related tasks that pertain to the properties, and so that's really that's a big part of my background. When I got out of the banking industry, I got heavily involved in the marketing side, and worked for a number of large companies like Hearst Corporation and Cartera Commerce out of Atlanta, and that's kind of a overview of about us.
So, so you're partners on this deal? Do I understand that correctly?
Yes. Jamario and I are working together on this project, and we're partners. I have, in Wilmington, North Carolina, I lived in there for about 26 years, and we moved from there to Greenville, South Carolina. I've been here for about 4 years, and Greenville is about an hour and a half west of Charlotte, so we're not far from each other at all. I, have done, a number of fixed flips, but the majority of my REO is rentals. I have 9 rental properties in Wilmington, North Carolina. I have not done anything, any fixed flips in the Greenville area since I've moved here. Just for, I wanted to get the lay of the land, want to get my contractors in place, and I've got to the point where I am, ready to get back into, doing rehab jobs in this area. And so, but Jamario, he's been doing this in the Charlotte area for the better part of over 10 years, and so, in my opinion, I don't know if there's anyone better that understands the components of Charlotte better than Jamario. So,
I don't know if John wants to jump in maybe, but I wanted to ask for a little bit more background on Jamario's experience in Charlotte area and how many flips has he completed in the past, or this year or last year, and what is his experience like?
Okay. Well, my experience goes back, as Spencer mentioned, back to about 2001, 2002. Around that time, well, to give you a little bit more background, I was a sales manager and worked in different capacities for Philip Morris for about 16 years. So I traveled over the Southeastern Division, working in different capacities for Philip Morris. In 2002, I moved back to Charlotte, North Carolina, where I purchased my own home, and then at that time the real estate market was pretty hot. So I bought a couple investment properties initially, and then from buying those investment properties, we started buying lots and doing new construction, building homes from an average point of anywhere between $400,000 to $700,000. Then we started buying hold leasebacks from builders such as Ryan Homes, Ryland Homes, where we would go in the neighborhoods, we would buy the model, they would lease the model to us, and as they were building out the neighborhoods. And then we also did the fix and flips. And we did that roughly up until about 2008, when obviously the market went south, and I think everybody took a break from real estate. Then here about roughly about 2012 or so, we started, I kept all my contacts with my general contractors and our subcontractors, and we started venturing out, doing real estate again. We were a little conservative at that particular time, so what we started doing is instead of buying and flipping, what we were doing is we were doing the rehab work and the construction work for other investors and home buyers. So we, from 2012 up until now, we've done about 9 renovation homes for other investors and other retail buyers. And just here recently, a little bit more than, I guess probably the earlier part or the middle part of last year, we started buying homes again where we were going in and doing small projects, anywhere from the $50,000 to $100,000 range, rehabbing them and selling them for profit at regular retail. And I've just been identifying in this particular area homes that we could have more success with. And in that meantime, we've been raising capital, trying to get all our ducks in a row, I guess, if you will, to be able to go in and put a bigger footprint, I guess, if you will, in establishing ourselves in these particular neighborhoods where we're developing currently.
Okay, and do you have so you are a general contractor, and you have your own license?
I'm not a general contractor. I work with 3 general contractors that we, just depending on particular projects, that I use. And the reason for that is because of the area that I cover and what I look to do, we're extremely conservative in our approach, and so I spend most of my time working with the general contractors and identifying good projects for us to work on. And once we've identified them, I put the money together, secured our capital and to pursue the project, and then I bring my general contractors in to kind of manage the process, so I can kind of, and I guess if you will, with the 3 general contractors that I have, I kind of oversee the general contractors and the subcontractors that we have.
I see. Okay. So can I ask you a specific question on the property? I was looking at the ARV spreadsheet here.
Yeah.
And the figure for ARV that you put in is $302,000, but the comps that are here, if I average them out, come out to $260,000. So could you explain? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I think, and I'll have to pull it. I think if you look at those comps, that's based off of the square footage. But if you look at the price per square footage, those houses are considerably smaller than the house that we're building. Those houses are anywhere between 12 and 1,400 square feet in regards to the comps. So if you average it out price per square foot, then our number, which is where we came up with our ARV.
Oh, okay, so you didn't make an adjustment. You
yes, we did.
You're supposed to make an adjustment here if it differs from the subject property. But
and if I can jump in here.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
I'm looking up this 1621 Homestead, which is just one street over, if I'm not mistaken, that sold for $295 in February, late February. It's stating that it's 795 square feet, at least on Zillow. So I'm not sure if that's correct or not. But I mean, regardless, I think it's a decent comp in terms of the fact that it's relatively similar square footage and the price is just about there. It seems. I'd like to ask this. Where are you in the process on this particular home? Maybe do you have this home under contract and just awaiting funding, or do you have?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so
we have a contract. The title work has been done. It's actually ready to close, and that was one of the the key factors here is that it is a time-sensitive project because we've been working on it roughly for about a month now, and it's at the stage where I don't think we could be more prepared to move forward in a situation than this deal. Literally, an example would be if we were this loan could close as early as Thursday or Friday. The title work, everything's been prepared. It's just a matter of us securing the funding.
Okay.
And the reason we're at that stage, to be frank with you, is we initially had an investor that was coming in to provide the funds, and they backed out at the last minute because they were waiting on funds from another transaction.
So when is the official close of escrow?
I'm sorry?
When is the official close of escrow?
I can't hear I didn't hear the question 100%.
When is the official close of escrow?
Well, what's the latest date that you can close?
Ideally, the seller is kind of waiting for us to get back with her. What I did commit to her, I said, I told her that I was having a conversation with a potential investor today, and from that point, if we got the approval, that we were about 4 to 5 days out, as I was, because I think that's what I understood the time frame would be, or could be, shall I say.
Jamario, do you have a appraisal or a BPO on this property?
I don't. What I do have is we have a property that's 2 streets over that's very similar to this one that we are in the process of securing funding for. We do have an appraisal on that one, and I think I did send it over. I'm not sure if you have it, Kevin. That one actually came in. It's a little smaller. It came in at $290,000. So I do have an appraisal for a house that's very similar and in regards to this one, and it came in at $290,000, and that was done about I guess about 45 days ago, 30 to 45 days ago.
Okay, Jamario. So if we decide, if EAC decides to keep this as a rental in our portfolio, and we would cash you guys out and give you obviously some profit deal, is that something that we could discuss with you and you would entertain?
Let me interject. I don't know why. What's this home going to rent for? Approximately.
That would be my the range would probably be about 13 to 1400 would be about the range you could.
So to me, that's not a rental that we want to keep.
And I will say, I did want to add an additional piece. Homes, and we have done a BPO, and I can, if I don't have an updated one, I can get one from a realtor in a matter of minutes. But homes in this area typically sell for about 98% of the asking price. As I just mentioned, or from our previous conversation a little earlier today, the home 2 doors down actually sold over the listing price. And homes typically don't stay on this. Completed homes that have been completely rehabbed that are more than 2 bedrooms typically don't stay on the market more than 30 days.
Okay. And on this, your plan for this home, you said it's framed out for the most part, right? And ready for drywall?
Yeah. Correct.
Okay.
It is.
And so it's framed as a 3-2?
Yes. 3, 2.5.
3, 2.5. Okay. And about 1,800 square feet. And what level of finishes will you go with on this?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. So we would do an example. So this house would have granite countertops. We would have custom cabinets. We would be going with red oak hardwood floors throughout. For the exception of the 3 bedrooms, we would do carpet, and it would be a grade level 2 carpet. And so it would We would put a lot of high-end product on the interior because what sells in this neighborhood is obviously in the neighborhood. To the upgrades that the sellers or buyers are accustomed to in the particular neighborhood, and once again, granted, the designer cabinets or not just box cabinets, I guess if you will, out of Home Depot or the local stores. So we have Ideal Cabinets is actually the company that we use, and they outfit their cabinets in a location which is literally 5 miles from where this house is located. So we would put all high-end appliances and finishes throughout the house. And the key here in this particular neighborhood is a privacy fence in the backyard.
Okay.
What is your plan for the outside?
So on the outside, what we would do is we would put sod on the front yard. We would there's already a driveway that's there for the yard. There will not be a garage in this case. The lot just doesn't permit that. We would grade the backyard. We would put a privacy fence. There's already nice cover with the trees. It's a huge backyard with nice big trees in the back. We're going to do a little trimming on the trees because they're hanging over a little bit, and then once again put the privacy fence in the backyard. What we found in our due diligence and what sells well is if you don't have to do much from a decoration standpoint, but you have to have a privacy fence in the back. That is a must in any sale if you're going to sell at retail in these particular neighborhoods. Just because once again it's going through the changes, but it's a great neighborhood, great street, and as long as you put a privacy fence up, I anticipate on having the house sold within about 2 to 3 weeks of having it completed.
You didn't mention painting of the house. It looks like it's gonna need some sprucing up.
On the exterior?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's correct. So what our vision is that the initial investor just did the basics, and so what we would do in regards to the house, we would definitely change the exterior color of the house because what seems to work in the neighborhood is earth tone colors, the light greens, browns, and the beiges. Those color combinations with burgundies, they seem to flow well within the neighborhood. In addition to, we would be doing some additional trim on all of the windows on the exterior. In addition to, we would I guess if you will, do a little small, where you see the piers. If you see the piers on the front porch, we will fence those in, I guess if you will, to create a nice little porch. All the homes in this particular neighborhood, they're craftsman style homes, and they all have nice porches that are kind of, I guess, with the little fence look to them. We would be adding that in addition, and then some sort of, I guess, if you will, oak wood door that would accent the colors that we picked out from an exterior standpoint.
Okay.
So the picture that you have in the spreadsheet is as it stands right now?
That is correct.
And it's hard to tell, but that's siding, right? I mean, so this is a frame house.
No, that's hardy plank, actually. That's not siding. It just looks that way, unfortunately, because of, I think it looks that way because of the color that they actually painted the house. But that's actually hardy plank that's on the side of the siding.
Okay.
It's not vinyl.
Okay, Jamario, Spencer, John, you guys have any more questions? Or anybody else on the phone call have any questions for our potential partners here from Charlotte?
Well, I'd like to know if you have pictures of the interior and what the layout looks like. And then also, I think I would just really like to see an example or two of work that you've done on one of the other 9 homes that you've done in the last couple of years, just to get an idea of the type of finishes that you're doing. how are they? Are the 9 that you have done? Are those all in Charlotte?
They are. I have no qualms with telling you that I stick with what I know, and Charlotte is. I'm a Charlotte native, I guess, if you will. I actually moved here in 1989 to go to college, and so I was here when none of this was, the vision wasn't even here, I guess, if you will, and I've seen the growth from that point to where it is now. So I consider myself a native here. I went to college here, and I've worked here for some time now. So I consider myself a native.
So,
and I can get you some pictures of the interior. I have those available now, and I can also shoot you some pictures of some homes that we've previously done here recently.
I'd also add to that list the scope of work if you have a bid from a contractor.
On the current house.
Right.
Okay.
So, Jamario, let's do this. So, you and Spencer have access to the Dropbox folder. You should know that we already have a folder on Parsons. And I do see that you put some stuff on Pigro, which is a project we're working on now. So, I'm going to give my virtual assistants to send you a checklist of things we need from our partners. And so, if you guys would upload the pictures, the scope of work, and other deals you've done on there, then let my team examine that. I think we're going to need another week on this property. I wonder if you can go back to the seller and ask for an extension for a week. But I like it. I think as long as everything else checks out and my partners here, my team likes it, I think we should do this deal. So can you also help me get a DP on the property as well, Mario?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Kevin. I don't have another week on the property. I can pretty much be honest with you on that. I can speak to the seller to see. Here's what I can say, and I'll be, I want to be frank with anyone, and I don't want to waste anybody's time. The only way I could probably buy another week is which I'm not sure if you're in a position to do, is I would have to give her some kind of commitment, a commitment letter stating that we were moving forward, and I know you all are still evaluating the property. And I will do my best to buy as much time as I can, but I cannot. I do want to be upfront with everyone that I don't know if I can buy another week. I guess for you to do your evaluation, because then that would turn it into potentially a week and a half or 2 weeks. Correct?
This week and next week is what we need. So if we want to.
Okay, this week and next week.
Yeah, next Friday to close.
Okay, so I will. Okay, I will get everything together. I will do what I can, but I do want to be upfront that there is a potential that I could lose the property in that time.
I understand.
Okay.
Come back and let us know before you actually lose it. Come back and let us know so we can kind of figure it out. Don't lose it without discussing it with us first, and I'll let you know how it goes.
Okay.
Okay. But John, just to say, this is the kind of property, John, that someone like me or you or one of our managing partners should buy in our name and put a 5% interest rate loan on this property.
Well, but I don't think it works with a purchase price near $300,000 and rents under $1,500.
I can't say it doesn't work. It does work. But when you're buying it at 60% ARV, and you're refinancing it at, 75% ARV, I think there's a way to make it work there. I just got to look at the numbers. But my point is that this is the kind of property that won't work with B2R, but may work with a investor loan that's a private personal loan at a 4 or 5% interest rate.
Yeah, I mean, it would get it closer. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so it's just take something to consider. It's certainly, if it's an A-class property, which is what Jamari and Spencer is leading me to believe, this is the kind of property we would want to own. Anyhow, just a thought.
Okay.
Why don't we move along? So I have here, John, you want to give us some update on the B2R process?
Sure. We, again, are basically finished with what we need to do on our end. They're, now coming back with peppering me with a couple of questions here and there, but for the most part, those are simple things to take care of. And so it is under legal review right now and going to final underwriting as soon as the legal review is finished. So I would hope that we'd be still closing within now 2 to 3 weeks at the outset. So we will see. In the meantime, we have a lot of deals that are coming on the table. Giovanni, I don't know if Giovanni, if you're on the phone, but the College Avenue that Giovanni had presented probably 3 weeks ago or so, and we had talked about, and then more or less both came to the conclusion that it just didn't work. The purchase price originally was $429 on that one, and he has apparently the seller, I think it's a short sale, or no, it's a bank on this one, and they came back and asked, well, what do you want to pay for it? And so he came back at $370, and they offered, and he accepted at $380. So that's fully $50,000 less than previously we had gotten into the home. So I think that is clearly one that is much more viable than it was at the first time that we went around on it. So we're going back and forth on how to finance that, and that'll be an interesting one to look at. George Flint came back this morning with another deal in La Jolla that is literally in the backyard of 1222 Nearlands Vista. The only reason this came up, according to George, was that the project manager went down to the house in the back and was asking the owner about possibly trimming some trees in her backyard. And she said, why do you want that? And so he told her what she was doing, or what they were doing with the homes up the street. And she said, well, I'll sell you my home. And so he said, okay. And they agreed to a price. And the initial spreadsheet that he put together looks really, really interesting. Very, very similar deal. And we're gonna try to move forward on that one and get it funded and see how it goes. So that's really interesting. I think if we can get those two together, there are probably some economies of scale there on a little bit of materials costs. And like George was saying, even if it's just 1 to 2%, I mean, that's pretty significant when you're talking about over $1.5 million in construction costs over these two projects. So that will be very interesting. And really, the only thing I have, I'm trying to concentrate on this week on my accounting and just catching that up, and then Olga and I need to sort of talk and move forward on transitioning much of that or most of that responsibility over to her purview, and so we'll continue to work on that, but I'm hoping to knock that out this week and get it done. And that's all I have.
So it looks like we're going to have quite a few, within 2 weeks to 4 weeks, we're going to have a lot of our funds for our investors come back. So yeah, we have several really deals, including the deal that we just presented, where I think we're going to need quite a bit of funds. So we'll make sure we get them out to our investors and try to get you guys involved right away to other potentially very good deals. These deals that we are thinking of now that needs funding in the next couple of months will be our typical fix and flip at 24% annualized return deals. So just keep your read the emails we send out to you guys. You'll see. But why don't we move on? Olga, I think you have a little bit of update to give. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, could you say that last part again?
Oh, just letting you speak about your work and what you might help.
Sure. So my update is that we have signed the contract with Folio and we're moving forward. I have shared a link to the help center on the website on my update, and I'm asking all of our GPs and anybody who's going to be involved with the property management to go onto that link and explore, watch the videos for whatever pertains to you. This week and next week we're going to be dealing with implementation. We have to migrate all of our data into the new system, and we will be reaching out to any GPs if we are missing any data. I'm also concurrently working on hiring a new VA that might be reaching out to you for that project. As John mentioned, I'm waiting for all the accounting to be finalized, and then we'll work on the transition of the financials. And I'm kind of put a little bit of stop on looking for the property management software for now. I want to finish the AppFolio implementation, and then I'll dedicate more time to that. That's it for me.
So all the ground partners on the phone call, we really are having trouble keeping up with everything we're doing. So all guys trying to put together something that will allow us to do that more efficiently. Okay.
Yes. And I think in my previous calls I kind of was keeping up everybody abreast for the purpose of implementing the property management software. So hopefully everybody is on board with that.
Okay. Isaac, are you on the line? I think Isaac has some family matters he told me about that he was attending to, so it's probably at that time. So we'll just go right on to Bill. Bill, do you have any things you want to update us on?
Yeah, I'm here. So I got an email this morning from Roger, and it sounds like they are a little bit behind on UPass. They stated they are submitting the paperwork this week, and it'll take about 4 weeks to get approved and about 2.5 months of construction. And their plan right now is if they go past the 6-month period, they will cash out EAC. I don't know if that's something that we're open to have go longer. I believe it was RPD is the one that initially said after 6 months they wanted to cash us out just to get a lower rate. So I don't know. We're okay with them taking longer as long as they're still paying us at 2% or 3%. Is that okay? Or
yeah. So our stance always still is that if they wanted to cash us out earlier, we would take that. If they want to cash us out at 6-month point, absolutely. I think it's good to just get cashed out at such a good rate. We should take that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Now, Bill, in the future, when you do something like this, would you ask Roger to send us pictures, and then you can get Medell to help you just put a link on this newsletter so that people can go look at pictures if they wanted to.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah,
it's kind of like pulling teeth. I've emailed him like 3-4 times before I finally had to just call the office, and he finally got back with me. So I will push him to get more information on it. He's not as
yeah, I understand, and that's good to know because these guys are very established company in town, but if they can't communicate with us very effectively, that may not be a good partnership. So let us know these kinds of things. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's all I have from San Diego. Besides, you saw the update on Merlin's. Obviously, we'll be closing this week. I don't know if George is on the line or not. Other than that, St. Louis market, we submitted an offer for a flip in Overland, Missouri, just outside of St. Louis. Purchased 30,000, rehab about 45, ARVs about 115. We're waiting to hear back from Sam Lord. He's going to kind of give us an update on the estimates because he's having some inspections done today. And we'll get a better idea of where we stand. We have that 5-day inspection period. If things don't look right, we'll either go back and renegotiate the price or just walk away from the deal. So I have a proposal ready for that. I'm just waiting to see these numbers, and once that's approved, I can go ahead and submit it, and we can try getting this funded so we can close by next Friday.
And again, Bill, you're doing these kind of things. I haven't seen the spreadsheet most of the staff. I'm sure, John, and you've looked at it. but if you can make it available for us at the time of the meeting, that'd be great too. But is this a good deal, John?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, I think potentially it's a good deal. We'll see on what the estimate comes in, and Mary was going to check on the ARV and really do a little bit more in-depth look at that as well, because my one concern about it is it's more of a rental area than a sales area, and that can, potentially get us into trouble. So we really have to dig deep on that and make sure that there are some significant sales within this particular market, and just make sure that we're not, going to over improve a property that just simply doesn't have a chance to sell.
Did you ask them what is the days on the market in the area, or are you still waiting for that information?
That's something that I asked Mary specifically, and she's looking into.
Okay.
So are you saying, Kevin, you want me to actually put a link in there on the newsletter or the spreadsheet and all that, or?
I think he actually had to go see a patient, but yeah, I think that's what he mentioned.
Okay.
With the pictures.
Okay. Okay. Then other than that, Kevin and I have been talking to Tony Bonawa from Las Vegas market. And as I mentioned last time, he's relatively new to the multifamily market. I mean, he's been studying for a while, but he hasn't exactly done any large multifamily deals. So he's basically putting his team together, and he presented an offer in the Atlanta, Georgia market, which is kind of comical because Jay Heinrichs actually emailed a bad horror story regarding one of his past partners or friends that invested in Atlanta, and things did not go well. So the numbers that he presented, I looked at it's based from LoopNet offering, and I looked at the numbers and corrected a spreadsheet, and it doesn't really look like a winner for anyone. So he's trying to just go back to the brokers and see if the numbers all make sense. But again, being it's a relatively new partner and he's relatively new to the area, to this arena, I really wouldn't feel very comfortable in giving him, this is I believe a $2.6 million apartment building, and we would probably have to provide about I believe $800,000 or $900,000 in funding. So I don't feel very comfortable with that, but we're just going to keep working with them and see, maybe they'll find something that makes sense for us, and then we'll go from there.
Bill, did he get the feedback from Jay? I don't know if anybody relayed some of those horror stories back to Tony in terms of investing in C-class multifamily or C-class apartment buildings like that.
No, I mean, I know we initially talked about C-class in general to him, but I was going to copy Jay's email to us and send it back to him today after he provided me some status back on the numbers that he was getting from the broker. Yeah, I'll definitely send him those emails so he's aware that it sounds good on paper. Yeah, you can do a lot of great things on paper, but when you're actually doing the work, a lot of bad things can happen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I just think it's takes a lot of experience to deal with a project like that, and unless you have that experience or have somebody on the team that knows it, it's more dangerous than anything.
Yep. The only plus of this property is, the previous investors actually did put a lot of money into it, and it's pretty much 80 to 90% rehab. But like Jay had mentioned in his email, someone I forget the dollar amount, but he put in a large sum of money to rehab it, and within 45 days, he stated that the entire property was pretty much trashed. So.
Yeah, that's a big horror story, for
Yep.
sure.
And that's all I have.
All right, Chad, are you on the line?
Yeah, I guess I'm next here.
All right, great, thanks.
We have Ingleside closing tomorrow, the property in Cleveland. The board's looking after. John, I guess you're still on the line. Is all the paperwork as far as the trust agreements and everything ready to go on that?
I believe so. I will double check after we have the call.
Okay. We have to get that to the title company, right, to register it on registered with the county. So that should be in there.
Yeah.
Good news on that property is it's rented already, even though we don't have ownership of it yet. So that's a plus sign. So that's a good sign for the Cleveland market that things are really hot there, both in rentals and resales of properties. Apparently, they're just going through the roof right now. So I think it's one of the last cities in the U.S. that's finally coming out of the doldrums with the recession. It's starting to climb out of it now, so we're starting to see that, which is good. Okay, and on another note, I just got like 2 hours ago, I got an email from a wholesaler for a building in Florida, South Florida. Now, it's kind of in a remote area. It's probably 2 hours outside of Miami, I guess, in northwest of Miami. It's not in the greatest area, but it's a building like multi buildings in anywhere in Miami area are just ridiculously overpriced. But this one is a 32 unit, and they're selling it for $700 grand. And I'm assuming it must be partially vacant or almost all vacant, because you almost never see a deal that hot or that good a price. And they've done a construction estimate on it. It needs a full rehab on the interior, and it's about in the amount of about $300,000. It's all in about $1 million bucks. My back of the napkin value on it at about a 10% cap, because it is outside of the main area, is probably worth about $1.5 million. So it might be a project I'm going to look into in a little bit more detail, if you guys think it might be worth pursuing. Hello?
It sounds interesting. Sure. I mean.
Okay. Yeah. The only issue is, though, is they want a proof of funds before they'll release a lot more information. So I'm gonna see how much information I can get out of them before we have to produce that. So obviously it's gonna be an all cash offer. So it would take a while to raise funds on that, obviously. So. And then one more thing. I guess Dr. Yu's not back yet, but I had emailed him a few days ago, and he hadn't got back to me yet, but he just emailed me this right before the call. I've been talking with a few note investors. Started getting interested in note investing myself about 6 months ago, and I've started doing a bit of self-education in it and attending some presentations and seminars. So there was one guy I met a few months back that he's an ex-hedge fund. I don't think he was a manager, but he worked for a hedge fund for a few years in New York, and he's kind of branched out on his own now. And his presentation was, a little bit of education on how to invest in notes, but he was more or less looking for joint venture partners. This was before I joined EAC even, and so him and I have been going back and forth. And then a week or two ago, I thought, you know what, it might be a good opportunity for EAC if they're interested in maybe joint venturing on some of these deals he's got. So I asked him to put together a few deals that are coming up in the pipeline. He buys them off of other hedge funds, I guess, or the one he used to work for. I'm not sure exactly. He's got a few sources. We put, he sent, I guess it was 10 notes or 10 potential notes that are for sale. And then I put a summary together, and I sent it to Dr. Yu the other day just to see if this would be something that might be interested in. And the returns that these things can produce are just mind-boggling. They're better than doing flips in most cases. Some of the returns are in excess of 100% within a short time frame. So something I'm looking into, and that's, Dr. Yu said I should bring it up today. So hopefully I'll more.
So are those non-performing notes?
Yeah, they're non-performing, exactly.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, why don't I bring up the spreadsheet, and I can kind of walk through it if you think we have time, John, like just to briefly go through it, or?
I think so.
Okay, let me, what do I have to do here? Ask for control, I guess?
Yeah, unfortunately, let me see if I can go give you control.
Oh, is it, okay.
Yeah, hold on for a second. I'm going to see if I can do that on Kevin's computer.
Okay.
All right, you got it.
Okay. Anybody see that?
I think we still see John's or Dr. Yu's screen.
No, yeah, that's interesting.
Oh, I didn't.
I definitely gave you control.
Yeah. Yeah, it says I'm controlling Kevin's screen.
Let me go in there again. Yeah, I'd like to take a look at the numbers. I mean, we've looked into non-performing notes before, and certainly the numbers are spectacular.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're controlling his screen.
Oh.
So that doesn't really help.
No.
Unless I can. Okay, so I just took it back over. I wonder if I can. Do you know where that file is? I can try opening it.
Oh, I haven't put it in the EAC folder.
Okay. Well,
I emailed it to him a couple days ago, but.
Okay. Well, let's not worry about it just yet.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can maybe discuss it next week. I might even I'll have my the guy come on the call next week and start peppering him with questions if you want.
Well, that might be good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, in any event, so there, there's usually 4 or 5 different exit strategies when you go to a note, and the most burdensome one and the least profitable is foreclosure, like when you have to take the property back and foreclose on it. And even at that, I'm seeing a return of, like almost 100% within 6 months, or no, 45% within 6 months, give or take a few months on the foreclosure. So it's, these are pretty decent returns. So I've talked to him about, the EAC model, how we provide 100% financing in return for a 3% preferred return on interest, and he was definitely on board with that. So he thinks it might work for them. So it might work for him.
Did he happen to mention about where he is buying notes? I mean, is it a 50% discount or 75% discount? More than that, even?
This one. Well, he gave me 10 with the suggested prices. So what I did was I summarized it all and put it in kind of like an aggregated sheet, like a summary sheet. And on average, the discount to the it's called the UPB, or the unpaid balance, which is the outstanding mortgage amount, is 26%, and the discount to the BPO is 41%. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, whether he gets them for that price, that was kind of what he thought. He figured his offer price would be, and where he thinks it would come in. Like, because some of these notes they're probably less desirable. I wouldn't say they're hand-me-downs, but they're probably been picked over by, the institutions, what have you. So some of these are leftover that banks just want to get rid of for whatever price. So.
Hey, Chad, I'm actually going to be talking to Jeff Brown. He's, I've seen him before, the bald guy on Bigger Pockets. I'm talking with him on Saturday.
Okay.
If you want, I can run the numbers by him, too, because he's sort of a note guru out here. He's got his own note fund that he's running with PPR.
Oh, is that right? Oh, is he part of PPR?
Well, he works with PPR, so he's got a note fund, bald guy note fund that runs through PPR notes. So.
Oh, okay. So he's like